Howdy and welcome back. I'm Oliver the Shoe Man, and today we're going to be working on something I don't normally do. These are Nike Baltoros, I think is what they're called. It's a Nike sneaker boot, and the old sole has kind of just crumbled off. And unfortunately, they don't make these soles aftermarket. So what we're going to be doing is creating a new like Nike boot type thing. The customer sent me a picture of it, and we went over certain details of what colors we want to use, and it's gonna look pretty cool. So stay tuned. This is gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be well worth it. And there's gonna be one completely different shoe after we're done with them. Okay, so the first step, we have these lines that obviously we can't just put a sole on and leave that like that. So we're gonna have to cover that with leather. And it's not just a straight line that we're gonna cover it. We wanna follow these designs. And so we're gonna take some masking tape, blue painter's tape, and then I'm just going to, I guess, follow. Actually, we'll start it right here. And then come around. And then where's my pin? I had a pin around. Here it is. All right. So then we're gonna kind of peel this back, right, and see. Make sure that that line, that is where I want it before we continue on. Yes, perfect. Alrighty. So we're going to continue this all the way around the shoe, making lines where we want to make lines. So that when we get done with it all the way around the shoe, we will be able to take the tape all off and know where we're going to, like how the pattern to cut our leather. Because we have to make what we call a leather rand. It's almost like what you see on the Converse shoes. Well, exactly kind of what you see on the Converse shoes. But this one's gonna be made out of leather instead of that vinyl that Converse uses. All right, I'm gonna kind of skip to when I'm done with this, because it's gonna take me probably like 15-20 minutes to do this, so that you guys aren't bored. Watch me do this and we'll come back when it's all done. Okay, I got it all mapped out for the template of the shoe that we want. And so we're gonna start on the inside. The inside means like in between your ankles here on the shoe. And we're gonna kind of follow this line, right? So this is gonna be our joint where the beginning of the rand starts and the end of it ends. Alrighty. And we're slowly, carefully peel this up, and we will have our template for the leather rand. Again, have to be careful because the tape could come unglued, unstuck from each other, and we don't want that. Like that. Oof. Alrighty, now we're gonna take this long piece, take it over to our piece of leather. We're going to be using black suede. And then we're going to cut a long strip of leather and follow these lines. All right, here they are. As at this stage, we got our leather rand stitched on, glued on, ready to go. Stitched from the inside, so it's actually being held on. Now this is our what I'm going to call our secondary footbed. It's a piece of leather with a gemming stitched on. That gemming is the white piece. And what we're going to do is take what we call a welt, like a Goodyear welted boot. I'm going to stitch the welt through this rand, the gemming, securing it all the way together. And then that'll give us a strong foundation for the new soles to be put on, which we'll show you that after. Once the welt is on, then we'll be able to, go from there. But I'll show you what it looks like after it's all done. The welt being stitched on and everything, but not too bad. It's looking pretty good. I like it so far. And then right here where the joint started and finished, we thinned it out. Now I wish that kind of line followed this right there, but when I brush this out with the suede, you won't really be able to tell it was where it starts and where it finishes, which is what we want. So let me get this welt stitched on and then we'll come back. Okay, next step is done. This is our welt, leather welt, and that got stitched, you see, to the gemming, the outer rand. And so now, the rand is stitched to the boot, and then it's the welt stitched to the rand, to the midsole, so everything's all nice and stitched together. Gives us a good, strong, sturdy foundation to fill, or to put our new soles on. Now, what we have here is basically just a Goodyear welted sneaker now. Goodyear welts is how they make shoes with this gemming. They have the footbed, the gemming is stitched to glued and sometimes stitched to the footbed. Sometimes they just glue it, and then you have this welt stitched to the gemming, the uppers and everything. So we basically converted these sneakers into a Goodyear welt sneaker, which is actually really cool. You don't see this very often. So now we're gonna fill this in with some cork. This is our cork sheets. That's just a filler to fill in this cavity that the what is this called? The gemming is creating. Fill that in. Then we're gonna put our midsole on, which midsole is gonna be a thin piece of blue rubber. Blue that is gonna match this and that piece right here. So we're gonna do a blue midsole, then we're gonna put a black wedge sole, and then a black lug sole on top of that. So it's all gonna be one nice, kind of almost like a hiking boot, almost like a pair of Danners. If you've seen Danners, you know what those are. They're good boots, but these ones are gonna be almost like that. We don't need a shank. A shank is a piece that typically goes in the boot, like right here. And what it does is it gives that curve and it supports your foot from here to here. But since we're doing a wedge sole, we don't need that. Boots that normally have heels, like cowboy boots or work boots or dress boots that have a separate heel, need one of these. So we're not going to put one of those in there. We're just going to fill this with cork, put our new midsoles, stitch the midsoles to this welt, and then we'll be able to put our new soles and everything on. But this is actually turning out a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I'm very happy with how this is looking. I know the customer's going to be happy too. Okay. So, it's hard to tell, but we got our welt on, the blue rubber midsole, and then our black wedge sole. We sanded the bottom flat so that we can put our Vibram lug soles on top of it. Finishing off this project, well, obviously we have to sand and clean up all the glue, clean up everything, but this is the last step before we go ahead and clean everything up. You see it? Kind of like, I don't know if you look up Danners after you watch this video, you'll see what I mean by it kind of looks like one of the Danner hiking boots, but it's coming along really great, really nicely. So let this cure, trim it, sand it, do the edge finish, which I think we're gonna dye the edge of that leather black to kind of blend in with everything. Waterproof the uppers, clean the uppers, get them ready to go out the door. All right, this has been quite the project, but we are all done, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. 100 lugs, or not 100, these are the 148 lug soles. It's a flat lug sole. The 100s have, you have to put a heel on it, but this is our Vibram double sole. We're using the wedge sole and the second sole. That's why I call it the double sole. Two soles stacked on top of each other. But I think it all ties in really nicely. Customer, I know it looks white, but the customer chose a gray stitch on top of the welt, which is what that is. He chose the blue midsole. He wanted the black wedge soles, the black soles, lug soles. And I think it ties in very well. All the colors go really nicely together. You have the blue, pink with the pink laces. I wish it would have been cool. Maybe if you could have done a pink midsole, I don't know. Or pink stitch, whatever. There's so many different things we could have done, but I'm really happy with how these turned out. Thank you guys for watching again. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, all my contact information will be down below in the description. Until next time, God bless you guys. Bye-bye.